What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel. I hope that you guys had a wonderful holiday, and today I want to talk about the EIDL or the EIDL program, but more specifically, I want to talk about it in the context of gig workers, in the context of people that may drive for Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, may have Turo fleets, may host on Airbnb, or even people that have a small business of their own but may not have an LLC. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down who qualifies for the EIDL program, who can get the EIDL program even if they don't have a proper business banking account, a proper EIN, or a proper LLC. So let's get started. Now, before we begin and before we dig in, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Cover. Now, Cover is a financial safety net for gig workers, and what they do is they offer some of the financial benefits that we've grown used to with a traditional 9-to-5. From sick leave to paid time off, as well as cash advances in the case that you need cash quickly, Cover can have you covered. Cover offers a slew of financial benefits and a lot of resources in the case that you need somebody to have your back in the gig economy. They can give you access to medical, telehealth professionals, bookkeeping services, as well as a legal team in the case that your gig economy platform is wrongfully terminated. I think that Cover is an excellent partner for any gig worker out there. The best part is Cover is super affordable, and if you follow the link in my description below, as well as the link in the pinned comment section of this video, you can give Cover a try for 1 month free with no contracts, no commitments, and no obligations whatsoever. So if you're interested in supporting me and supporting this channel, then definitely check out the link in the description and in the comment section and give Cover a try. Thank you, Cover, for sponsoring this video. So as you guys know, especially if you've been watching this YouTube channel, you know that the EIDL program could be coming back with this newest $900 billion stimulus package. Now, of course, as of right now, this $900 billion stimulus package isn't passed, and nothing that's in the bill is really set in stone because of the fact that lawmakers are currently arguing over a $2,000 stimulus check. But regardless, I think that it's important to begin discussing the EIDL program as if it's going to be passed, because that way, once it's passed, all of you guys watching my videos can be prepared and you can know whether or not you qualify for the EIDL grant. Now, what the EIDL program is it's a program that was outlined in the CARES Act, but it's existed for years, that allows for businesses, entrepreneurs, and gig workers to have access to loans or cash advances if they are eligible for them. This meant that back in the summer and in the spring, you could potentially get a free $1,000 to $10,000 depending on how many employees you had. And in some cases, you could get a low interest loan that you could pay in monthly low payments over the course of 30 years. So it was a really great situation for people that were super strapped for cash given the pandemic. Well, in this newest $900 billion stimulus package, this program is back, but there is different requirements and there are different things that you need to keep in mind if you want to take advantage of this program. Now with that, let's dig right into the requirements. So in the comments of my videos, whenever I talk about the EIDL program, so often I see a lot of confusion on who is qualified and who is eligible for the EIDL. And government requirements aside, I think it's important to address just in general who is eligible for this grant. Now, the great thing about the EIDL program is that you do have the ability to get free money in the form of a cash advance or otherwise known as a grant. And the other great thing about the EIDL program is that it isn't just available to people with a proper LLC, a proper EIN, and a proper business checking account. In fact, this program is available to anybody who considers themselves to be a small business owner, a gig worker, an independent contractor, a 1099 worker, or a proper business owner. And so because of this and because of these broad requirements, it makes the loan, the cash advance, and the program as a whole accessible to a huge amount of people. But here is where the confusion often comes, and I think that this is where there is a lot of fuzziness in the EIDL program as a whole. The thing that you need to remember is that you have to have a proper business. You have to have proof that you've been operating as either a gig worker, an independent contractor, a 1099 worker, or a business owner. You have to have proof of this. You can't just simply say, well, I'm a gig worker, I want to get this $10,000 cash advance. That simply is not how it works. So if you are somebody who maybe in 2019 you drove for Uber for a week and then you decided it wasn't for you, you would not qualify for this. There simply is not enough evidence to support the fact that you are a proper gig worker, even if at one point in time you did do gig work. And if you apply for the EIDL program and they do research on who you are, what your business is, what your income stream is, they're going to deem you as ineligible. And there simply really isn't another way around this. On the flip side, if you are somebody who doesn't have an LLC, you don't have an EIN, but you've been driving for Uber since 2018 and you have the bank statements to prove that month after month and week after week, then you are somebody that could be eligible. The fact is that even though you don't have to have a proper LLC, you don't have to have a proper EIN, you still have to be able to prove that you're doing the business that you say you're doing, whether that be in the form of bank statements, whether that be in the form of showing that you have an Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Turo account, whether it be showing your online presence on these platforms, or even showing orders if you're somebody that has a small business. You have to be able to prove that this business exists, and simply stating it as so will not be enough. The second thing that you need to remember is that this round of EIDL funding does have more strict requirements in comparison to the first round of EIDL funding. First and foremost is that you have to prove that you come from a low income area, and these guidelines of what a low income area is and what this definition is outlined per the IRS. I did a video on this a couple of days ago, really dissecting what this meant and what this meant for you in your community. So if you're interested in checking that out, I will link it in the description below. So your business has to come from a low income area. The next thing you have to remember is that you do not qualify for the EIDL program if your business was started after January 31st. So if you've been driving for Uber and Lyft for years, or if you've been doing the gig economy for years, or if you've been doing freelancing for years, you could qualify for the EIDL program. But if you started in the gig economy, or you started as an independent contractor back in March, April, May, or any point after January 31st, you will not qualify for the EIDL grant. It doesn't matter if you showed an economic decrease. It doesn't matter if you come from a low income community. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You do not qualify. And another aspect you have to keep in mind is that you have to show an economic decrease of at least 30% in order to qualify for the EIDL program. And the way that you show this is you have to pull data from any quarter in 2020 and compare it to the same quarter of 2019. So let's say, for example, in the second quarter of 2019, your side gig, your 1099 job, your freelancing gig, whatever the case is, whatever you're doing, you grossed $100K in sales. So you did $100,000 in the second quarter of 2019. But then in the second quarter of 2020, so the same quarter, but in 2020, you only grossed $50,000. Under this 30% criteria, you would qualify because of the fact that your sales decreased by 50%, which meets the criteria of 30% or more. If on the flip side, if in 2020 your business grows 90K, so 100K in 2019 versus 90K in 2020, yeah, you saw an economic decrease, but it does not meet the 30% threshold outlined by lawmakers, so you would not qualify in this instance. So you have to not only be able to show that you had a business, but you also have to show that that business suffered substantial economic loss of 30% or more. And this could be proven in a wide variety of different ways. You could show your earnings graph on the apps that you use. You could construct a P&L. You could show bank statements. There are a number of different ways that you could show an economic decrease, but what's important is that you're able to prove it. You can't simply just say, hey, I suffered an economic decrease of 30%. You have to be able to prove it with documents. Now, the fact is, this certainly won't be my last EIDL video over the next couple of weeks, because I am sure I will continue to make videos on people's questions that they're asking, on the application process, on the different nuances of this program versus the last program, and so much more. But the fact is that as of right now, this still is not set in stone, and this bill has to be passed. And what I'm saying now could change in the coming days or in the coming weeks. But I do think that there is one incredibly important thing to keep in mind, and one important thing to be prepared for in the coming weeks. And that is, if you are somebody who thinks that you're qualified for the EIDL program, if you meet all the criteria that I've listed out in this video, if you have a gig platform or a 1099 job or a freelancing career that you've been working on, if you qualify for this $10,000 cash advance, and if you want to cash in on that, you need to be prepared to provide supporting documents. You cannot simply just apply for the EIDL program, cross your fingers, and then hope that that $10,000 gets deposited into your bank account, because I don't think it's going to work that way this time around. You're going to need to provide bank statements. You should have P&Ls ready to go. You should have proof that you are participating in the businesses that you're claiming to participate in, whether that be order summaries, invoices, your gig platforms like screenshots of your profile. Whatever method you choose on proving that you are a legitimate gig worker, 1099 worker, freelancer, small business owner, whatever method you choose is irrelevant. But it is important that you are able to and you are prepared to provide proof that the businesses you are claiming to participate in are actually businesses you participate in. And you need to be able to prove that, because the SBA will almost inevitably ask for some sort of proof. And if you're somebody who is wanting to get this cash advance and you are not eligible for it, if you do not have a business, if you do not participate in the gig economy, it will be found out. The IRS will find out. the government will find out, your bank will find out, and you will not get the funds. And if you end up getting the funds and you spend the funds, then there is always the chance that you're going to get investigated for fraud, because that's what that is. It's fraud. And so I would encourage for everybody who thinks that they're eligible for the cash advance for the EIDL program to stand by, hit the subscribe button on this channel so that you know when the program goes live. In the meantime, I would encourage you to gather bank statements. I would encourage you to create a P&L. I would encourage you to get your ducks in a row. That way, once the application goes live, you are ready to go and you have everything you need. But with that being said, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it. So make sure to leave a comment down below. In the coming weeks or in the coming days, I will be doing an EIDL and just stimulus package FAQ, so frequently asked questions. So if you have any questions that you want me to answer, make sure to leave it down in the comment section. While you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video.